This is Never Down, Never Out with T.R. Matson. This podcast is about discipline when motivation fades, resilience when things get hard, and showing up when quitting would be easier. No hype, no shortcuts, just the mindset required to build something real. One day at a time. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Never Down, Never Out. T.R. Matson coming with you this morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great morning. I hope wherever you are, the sun is shining and you got a good night's sleep. That's what I want. Today, episode 72. This one I have a great, I don't know, a great example of, I think, that's very simple, but it proves the point. So let's just get right to it. Maybe it'll be a little shorter and we could go on with our days and be productive. Episode 72, the freedom of doing the hard thing. Okay. Why do we find freedom in that? Well, let me use this example. And I've talked about it before, but I'll put a twist on it. So I think it's very important to exercise. I think body movement is important. I've always kind of sort of been around it, whether it was battling weight issues or whatever. But then when I met my wife, she's very much into it. Certified strength and conditioning specialist now and has worked hard to get that. So, we're trying to keep that fitness in our family, teach our children. So it's a daily thing. It's funny when I look at my desktop on my computer, it's got 4 files on this home screen. It's got 2 books. It's got the topics of this podcast. And on the other side, it's got my workout. That's it. So with that workout, years ago, my wife was more into CrossFit at the time, as a lot of people were. And when we outfitted our first house with a garage gym, we bought a rowing machine, a Concept 2 rowing machine, which is not a cosmic thing. A lot of people have them, or, they were very popular. I tried it. I was never really into rowing. I gave it a try and I hated it. It sucked. It was horrible. I didn't enjoy it. And over the years, I would do it. But I also had other things. When we met back in California, we were both into triathlons and cycling. So I had a nice road bike and I would set that up on a trainer in the garage and try to use that, almost try anything to not do the rower, just because I would do it for short amounts of time. And I hated it. It was boring. It was painful. It never seemed to get better. I never seemed to do better. I remember when I first started doing rowing, I would come inside and tell my wife my pace, and she's so sweet. And she'd be like, "Great, that's good. Keep it up." Which is spouse speak for your pace stunk and you need to work harder. But I knew what she was saying, and I appreciated her positivity. So fast forward, I would do the bike on the trainer and I would get stronger at it and it would get easier. So I felt good, right? Because you're going faster and it's not as hard, right? You condition your legs and you hit a point, and I did, where I basically maxed out the bike trainer. But I never got that way with the rower, and it drove me crazy. And then I realized how the rower is designed, right? It's a fan wheel, and the harder you pull, the faster it goes. And the faster it goes, the more air resistance, so the harder it is. And you'll get better at a rowing machine. Or we also have the Concept 2 bike, which uses the same principle. But it'll never get really easy, because it's always going to push you, because as you progress, it gets harder. And well, fast forward now, years later, I need that rower. And the reason I need that rower is because it has stopped doing the same benefit for my muscles and for my heart, my cardiovascular, than it has my mind. For instance, today's workout is I'm going to lift, I'm going to do some deadlifts and some heavy lifting and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go hop on the rower for a quick 8,500 meter row. Straight row, just nothing, just hop on it and row until you hit 8,500 meters. From a physical standpoint, I know I can do it. I can go further than that. I've done a similar workout before. I have a rough idea of the pace, but from a mental standpoint, the thing that's interesting to me is it will help me grow my mind. I will find a freedom when I'm on that rower today that will make my day better. In fact, when I'm done recording this, that's where I'm headed, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to cut it short just because of that. Maybe a little. But I find freedom in that because my mind can't go anywhere else. But in the same regard, it can go everywhere else. I can think of anything when I'm in that moment. I don't have to be responsible for landing an airplane or parenting kids or what am I going to eat later or what do I need to write? What do I need to podcast? I don't have to be responsible for any of that. How's our finances? None of that matters in the moment. In that moment, my mind just opens up and I get this freedom because I know I'm doing something that is difficult. And when I experience that, it's really hard to find that anywhere else, to be honest with you. I haven't found it quite the same way. I mean, I like driving cars and sometimes I'll go for a drive and there is a little bit of freedom in that where I'm just cruising around, listening to music, right? Country roads. But there's always a little bit of like, what was that bump? What was that noise? Is that car's operating okay? There's still concern. Whereas on the rower, when I'm physically exerting myself to the max, nothing else is there. And I often think of some of the most interesting things when I let my mind have that freedom. I've come up with twists in the books. I've come up with podcast ideas. I actually solidified that I was going to do the podcast while on the rower, doing hard stuff. There's something about the freedom you get when you put in the hard work. Now, do I think the secret to life is everybody that listens to this should go out and buy a Concept 2 rower? No. Unless they sponsor me. Just kidding. No, I don't. You have to find your freedom. You have to find your hard work, whatever that is. Some people, I have friends that they go for long walks every day. Some people go jogging. Some people do manual labor in their yards or whatever it is. Some people find it in their work where if they put in a hard day's work, they find freedom in that. And all of that applies. But we have to look at ourselves today and we have to go, okay, what is my hard work? Like, what do I really benefit from the most? Because that is where I will find my freedom. Not what hard work can I put in to benefit somebody else? That works to a point. But at the end of the day, are we going to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror, brushing our teeth and go, you know what? Yeah, that was the best for me. Maybe, maybe not. Now, there's a means to an end. Sometimes you have to do it. I mean, I have to work a job. I'd love to, eventually not have to work a job. But, bills have to be paid and things like that. And that's all fine. But I still have the rower. And it sounds dumb that some piece of machinery that's been in our garage for almost a decade between these two houses gives me so much freedom. So today I want you to look at what it is, and I don't care if you're 10 years old or 90 years old. Physical exertion, more often than not, is the answer. Now, if you've never rode before, do I expect you to go hop on a rower and knock out 8,500 meters? No, you're going to hurt yourself, right? Don't do that. Work yourself up to it. There's plenty of programs, right? But movement of our bodies, hard movement of our bodies, helps clear our minds. And when we clear our minds, we find that freedom. Because we know we've done something. We have come from creatures that roam the earth and hunted for food and built shelters. And we've moved into this world of comfort and air conditioning and heat and water coming out of the faucet, electricity when you turn your light switch on. So sometimes just the hard physical movement of our bodies is enough to create our minds, to put our minds in a place to go, you know what? Like, I get it now. I see. And you can get a lot of things answered with just a little bit of hard work. So what's your hard work? Tell me in the comments. I'm curious because I have been looking for other things that can replicate what I get on that rower. It's hard for me to explain. I hope I've explained it okay today. You know, people, I've talked about it, I've heard it. David Goggins talks about callousing his mind, right? And it's not the act and what it does to your body when you're doing these long workout sessions. I mean, the guy was running days at a time. It wasn't the physical exertion as much as it was you are controlling your mind through something difficult, which buys you the freedom. And once you can control your mind and truly understand it, you're unstoppable. So let's figure out what our hard work is today. And let's get that on the calendar and do a little bit of it every day. And let's find that freedom. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. If this episode helped you, don't just listen, apply it. Progress is built in what you do after the message ends. Remember, never down, never out. I'll see you tomorrow.